DETV Sports Update is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
And the time has finally come. We are in the midst of week one of the NFL season. And what's up, Delaware? Nick Alessandrini alongside, as always, Jason McCall and Matthew Maurer. We are back, Dennis behind the glass, to break down everything NFL week one as the football season is finally here. We've been previewing all the divisions, getting after some of the new information that's been out there over the summer, training camp additions, subtractions, etc. And we are here, less than 24 hours away from kicking off the NFL season here in 2023 with the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. So, guys, we are here. NFL season is upon us. Jason, how you feeling? Ravens getting underway this Sunday. We get to check out football action tomorrow. You were traveling again this past weekend. Tell us a little bit about what you got into and how excited you are for the NFL season.
Well, the travel was mainly local this weekend. Got to go to a couple of barbecues, you know, for Labor Day weekend, and had a little bit of some college nostalgia, if you will. Went to the Queen Soulja Boy concert. I actually came to Delaware. Came here, so it was one of those moments where, like, okay, it is Soulja Boy, but at the same time, it's like you're there and you're like, wow, I know most of these songs, and you actually had a lot of hits. Then it's kind of also like you can't deny his place in hip-hop's history. He has a paragraph or maybe even a whole page in Hip Hop 50 because of what he did in the advent of ringtones and streaming and social media. He's one of the first social media music superstars, if you will. I mean, people buying ringtones for $5 just to hear the songs on their phone. I mean, the videos, some of the hip-hop dances he had, you know, and things like that. With Crank That and other songs he had. So, I mean, and then, of course, the infamous Breakfast Club interview, Drake, you know, and he actually signed a shirt for me.
That's right, we saw that.
So, but no,
wish we had the picture to put that up on the
But
screen.
no, but it was a cool concert. Just to see him, like, actually, like, not wilding out on, like, social media. It was cool to see him, and I got a chance to talk to him, and he was, I don't want to say people aren't articulate, because I know everyone is at some point in time, more often than not, but he was a cool individual. I will give him that. But I'm more excited about football season. Let's go Florida State, you know. LS who, you understand, you know, beat them. But excited for NFL season, and can't wait to get into these week one matchups here.
That's right, big day for Florida State, big day for the Colorado Buffaloes on Saturday as well, and Dion, but I'm sure you've heard enough about Colorado here the last week, so we'll spare you any more Colorado talk. Matt, how you doing? Nice Labor Day weekend for you as well. What'd you get into?
I watched the college football season. I really had a great time seeing Coach Prime. Had a great time seeing Dabu.
I was gonna say that. Dabu Sweeney right there.
Yeah, man. Listen,
hasn't been good for Clemson.
I am more than happy. It couldn't happen to a more worse human being. I gotta be honest with you. I know people don't like to hear that, but
coming out firing shots early in the show.
I think that guy is a byproduct of. We're seeing exactly who he is. He's lost his offensive coordinator, and he doesn't have a first-round top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the real deal of it right now in Clemson.
And Klubnik, again, Cade Klubnik, who they got now, is a pretty good recruit there. So even speaks, you know, a little bit to some of the lack of success, I guess I should say there. So not like they're lacking the talent, just missing the mark here early.
But I will also give equal credit to Duke just busting their behind.
That's a fact.
Duke has been relevant, if you will, in football the past 6-7 seasons. Even longer than that, going back to the days when Jamison Crowder played for them.
Yeah, so they played, against Johnny Manziel back in the Chick-fil-A Bowl back when Johnny Manziel was a senior.
So Duke football is seeing a second resurgence. Is their first win as top 10 team in the first week since the old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, 89 Duke, who also beat Clemson.
Gators.
So
shout out Florida Gators.
We got to start at Duke, so we're going to leave. We got to talk about that Florida stuff today.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a bad. You've let me know it's been a bad week for the Florida Gators this week. Matt, before we move on here, getting to week number one, USA basketball advancing in the FIBA World Cup here today, this week. Got some another matchup coming up. What have you seen from them? And just give a little update on what they've been up to here.
I mean, I think what we're seeing is this is what they can do. They can turn it on. I think sometimes it takes guys a while to adjust. Whether people like to hear this or not, there is an adjustment between international ball and the NBA basketball. I think sometimes, look, I'll just say it. I think sometimes guys struggle with the way things are in the Olympics. The World Cup. At the end of the day, I think what we saw with Lithuania is more to the situation what happens when the big men for USA basketball don't rebound. In particular, I'm talking to Jaren Jackson. Like, this has been an issue, and I don't know, there's a joke that goes, thank God that Bam Adebayo doesn't have a relationship with his father, because if he does, he's playing for Team Nigeria, and he's not playing for Team USA. So America needs to start getting more and more big men involved. Chet Holmgren, that's a guy that could come out and give us some relief in the future. I think Walker Kessler is a really good build there for them in the future. But yeah, I don't know what it is about like finesse big men that block shots like Miles Turner and Jaren Jackson. They're just not very good at rebounding, and it really, really hurts.
I got a name for you that I'm surprised not on the team. I'm wondering why someone like a Jared Allen is not on Team USA in the FIBA World Cup. Like, he would be great for those games where you're playing against the bigger European teams, because all they do is rebound. I mean, you saw it. And truth be told, international play has been more physical than the NBA for the last 15 years or so.
Yep.
So, I mean, and then when you add it on to the rules difference, FIBA and international ball is more of a team game. It's not an ISO ball.
That's a fact.
If you get your shot off, you get it off, but it's more team-oriented play, and it takes the NBA players a while. They used to have being featured in the offense and things of that nature, but in FIBA international play, ball got to be spread around. And Lithuania just shot the lights out in the first quarter, so it wasn't like oh, they weren't trying. No, they made their first 10 3-pointers in a row. They didn't miss.
And I think people also have to get it through their thick head. At this point, every team has an NBA player on it. I mean, Chester's very own Hollis Jefferson, a.k.a. the Jordan. He grew up right down the road.
Down the street.
Yeah, playing for Arizona, and then went and got drafted. And he's playing for the Jordan national team. Like, every team has NBA players now, and that didn't happen 16 years ago.
It's a little interesting too, right? Because you hear, I think it was Bertans saying that he only wants, people of that specific nationality playing on his squad.
Yep.
Some of the other guys have come out and talked a little bit about that as well. There's another point in my head, but it escaped me there. But yeah, it's getting. You got some other guys that are playing for different countries. Oh, Paolo Banchero, the Italians, pretty mad at Paolo Banchero for playing Team USA. They've been letting him have it, calling him a traitor, et cetera, here as we get into the World Cup.
You got Big Cat playing for the Dominican Republic.
That's a fact. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of players for different teams. I mean, you still had the thing with Giannis. Was he ever going to play for, Nigeria or stay with Greece? That was talk a while ago. But, I think that, like I said, I still think the USA team is built to win the World Cup. But I know we can't stay on this too long, but if I were Steve Kerr, I would actually start Halliburton and bring Brunson off the bench. I think Halliburton gives them a better dynamic in the international style of play.
He is, yeah.
I mean, especially if you look at even statistically, just looking at the number. I think he has the best numbers on the team.
And he has the best usage rate of the whole team, and incorporate, as I said it last week, incorporate Brandon Ingram a lot more in that offense. And then if we're playing against the Euro bigs, the best big on the team to combat that style is still Bobby Portis.
Oh, that's Bobby Portis.
Because he hits corner threes, he rebounds, he
physical,
defends.
yeah.
And Walker Kessler, like you said, I think Walker Kessler is primed for a big year next year.
I agree.
I
really do.
Kessler. Finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting here this season. First round pick. When he was part of that trade, the big trade for Rudy Gobert from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
The dumb trade.
5 first-round picks. Again, before we move on quickly, just want to take note. If you guys remember, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago show, I asked if Austin Reeves would win the Most Improved Player of the Award next year. Well, a few days later, Vegas has named him the favorite to be the Most Improved Player. So maybe I'm on to something.
He'll be featured a lot but he
Vegas
won't win it though.
How
It's
about
going to be
that?
somebody else.
We'll see again. Long season again. That's
Hillbilly Kobe.
That's
All right, man.
and that again, NBA season just around the corner already. We'll get to talking about that here.
We
in a
gave
few
enough
weeks
time
as
already
well.
for tonight. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's right. We're gonna keep it moving. 12 minutes into the show, got our basketball in, and now let's dive into football. And it's all gonna get started today here with Dennis's question of the day. We're here on a Wednesday. You can catch us typically every Monday, and starting next week, we'll be back on our regular schedule on Monday nights here on DETV, most likely at 7 o'clock. And guys, Dennis's question today: who are your top 5 MVP candidates ahead of the season, which gets underway tomorrow? Give us your list of top 5. I'll start us off here, guys, with my top 5 picks for MVP, and it all gets started at number 1. Can you guys guess who my number 1 prospect for MVP? No, I'm going.
Justin Herbert?
No, but he's on the list. Jalen Hurts takes going back up to the number 1 spot. I'm sick of the Jalen Hurts taking a step back talk here this year. They didn't lose any weapons on offense, only improved, in my opinion, offensively. Again, people are thinking just because he had such a good year last year that he has to take a step back next year. I don't think that's the case. I think if he stays healthy, he would have won the MVP last year. I think he'll be around that same trajectory this year. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes, just because you have to. I think he may be the favorite, and why not, going into every year, and he should be. I think he's that good of a player. The Travis Kelce hyperextension of that knee, status questionable for tomorrow night. That could obviously affect those odds going forward. It was one thing to lose Tyreek Hill last year because you have Kelce to fall back on. This year, no Hill. If they don't have Kelce, we'll see what happens. Kadarius Toney usually can't stay healthy. I do like Sky Moore a lot this season. I liked him coming out of the draft. We'll see if he can step up and be that big guy, but I just don't think it matters because Pat Mahomes is that dude, and I think he's going to be up there in the MVP race again. Number 3, Jason, you called it. I think Justin Herbert's going to take that next step. He's healthy, had those rib issues last year. Keenan Allen couldn't stay on the field at all with that hamstring. I think played 4 games. By Mike Lombardi, he's gone. The offensive coordinator, Mr. Dump off to Austin Eckler. He's out of here. He struggled find ways to get the ball downfield. Kellen Moore, insert him. Loves to throw the ball. Great at getting guys open down the field. I think Justin Herbert's going to take that next step. I think he has a huge year behind Kellen Moore in that offense and that new system that they'll be running there. So give me Justin Herbert. And then coming in at 4, I got to go with your boy Lamar Jackson here, coming back this year with Todd Monken, that new offense. He's got a bunch of new toys to play with offensively. He's going to be healthier this year coming in. He's had some time off, I believe, so he'll be all right. And then number 5 for me, Trevor Lawrence from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think year 2 under Doug Peterson. They were the division champs last year. Went out on a limb and called that one. It worked out. One of the few ones there. But I think he's going to have another big year this year with Doug Peterson. Second year in that system. Enter Calvin Ridley. I think, as we talked about, a premier receiver here in the league. I think he's going to open things up for Lawrence, just as we saw A.J. Brown do for Hurts, Stephon Diggs do for Josh Allen. I think Trevor Lawrence is in for a big year. I've got him number 5.
That's interesting. I have actually Trevor Lawrence a little higher. I have him second.
I like that. Let's go, Matt. Hit us with your top 5 here.
So, I mean, I obviously will have, I think, Burrow 1. I think Burrow.
Yeah, I left him out of my top 5 there. Yeah.
I have Lawrence at 2. I have Lamar at 3. I have Pat Mahomes at 4. And then I have Josh Allen at 5. I think if Lamar does what the expectation is that he'll do, I think he can really win it. I'll say this, to your Jalen Hurts point. I think the issue with Jalen Hurts is when people say he's taking a step back, I think what people are going to reference is, can he keep up those rushing touchdowns? Before he had 10, the season before he had 10, this season he had 13. Usually when we look at quarterbacks and how they attack that line, now if the O-line play continues to be great, which there's no indication that it's going to slow, but guys have got a little longer. Lane Johnson's a little bit older. Jordan Mailata at times has been injured here and there. So if the O-line play continues to be what it is, I think he can certainly hit double-digit touchdowns again, but I think those numbers are going to take a little dive. I think that's what people are referencing when they say step back.
Okay. Well, my top 5. I'm going to go with the 2019 MVP at number 1.
I can't believe you're there. I saw that one coming.
And Lamar, I just feel with his renewed energy and health, along with the additions to the offensive side of the ball, to me it's a no-brainer that he's in the top 5 for MVP conversation. 2, I would say, until Patrick Mahomes loses an MVP. Number 2 is Patrick Mahomes. Number 3 for me is Justin Herbert. Number 4 for me is actually number 4. We forgot a name. No, number 4 for me is Aaron Rodgers.
That's a comeback name.
Only
there.
because if the Jets, like similar to with Lamar and the Ravens, if the Jets are anything close to what people think they're going to be, if they win at least 12, 13 games and win the division,
I'm with you.
he's there.
And it's again, you got all that hype built into it. You have the hard knocks. You have that Aaron Rodgers talk all summer,
building.
and I think that definitely helps
And
build that.
number 5, I'm taking the Bengal, but it's not Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is in my top 5.
Wide receiver. And again, I had a little, just looking at it, it's so hard for a wide receiver to win MVP. I wanted to put Jefferson in there, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Jamar Chase, could he do it? And again, a lot has to do with Joe Burrow's health coming back on that MVP season. So Matt, top MVP candidate Joe Burrow. Jason, top MVP candidate Lamar Jackson. I'm rolling with Jalen Hurts. But again, our top 5 is mostly similar for the most part. Yeah. But you guys did leave out Jalen Hurts. I believe both out of your top 5 candidates, right?
No, I had
you
Hurts.
had him in? All right,
yeah.
I don't.
He doesn't.
You could make an argument to replace Chase with Hurts because it's a quarterback-driven trophy.
Right.
Yeah.
I do believe he still should have won last year. That's just my personal opinion.
Nah, y'all tripping.
No, I mean, this just for me. I'm not going to say for y'all.
Yeah, we
just
don't have
for
time
me.
to argue about it, but I'm with you.
Y'all tripping. Go ahead. Go off.
But no, I don't think he will regress. I think he'll still go forward. But like you said, if you're trying to keep a franchise quarterback healthy, a lot of the rushing is going to have to subside at some point. So you have to find ways to manufacture. Now,
I think he can do that. I think he can.
Can he throw for the quarterback numbers that we're used to seeing from other big name quarterbacks? You have to be seen.
Yeah, and
I don't care how accurate you say his deep ball is, but that's another story another day.
here's my problem with Aaron Rodgers talk. I really think the league gave him as many MVPs that they're going to give him. I don't think
Steve Nash MVP.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys to me where I think he's going to be in most people's top 10. He's in my top 10, but I don't have him as high as other people do. I mean, there's people that they
have number 1.
Yeah, I don't have him that high. I think he's a guy that he's a great talent, great individual skill. I just at the end of the day, I think he's got all the MVP trophies they're willing to give him at this point. Because I mean, if you think about it. Other than that one title, and we're talking about him being a generational talent, and people are saying, oh, he's top 5, top 3. I don't see it.
But that's how I feel about Peyton Manning. I look at them as
Peyton Manning's much different.
But I look at them in the same way until Peyton Manning got that second ring.
The only problem I have with the Manning thing is Manning came in, did everything that he was supposed to do. The problem I have with Aaron Rodgers is once he came in and everybody said, "Oh my God, look at how efficient he is. Look at how efficient he is. Look at what he's doing." He didn't
became a prima
match.
donna.
Yeah, he didn't match Favre. I hate to say that, but if you ask most Green Bay people, they still think Favre's better than him.
Well, I agree.
Yeah,
I would take Brett Favre over Aaron Rodgers. I would.
right.
He passes the eye test.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Aaron Rodgers is a prima donna. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that I think he looks in the mirror and he's his best cheerleader. I just don't. Look, man.
And again, I will say
great talent, but
I will say MVP definitely, in the possible range of outcomes for Aaron Rodgers, depending if they do win that division. It's a tough division, all the hype they have.
Right.
But again, one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league, he'll have on the other side of the ball. The Jets.
Best overall defense?
I said, I think they're top 5 easy. Top 5 easy.
top 10, I'll go definite. Top 5, you can split some guys.
Either way, they're set up for some success with the Jets, so we'll find out.
We'll see.
Shout out to Sauce, because you're going to be tested this year, brother. Believe that.
I'm testing on Monday night. Big things. We'll get to there here in a little bit, but let's open it up here 20 minutes into the show tonight, and let's dive in to our Week 1 previews. And that's right, fellas. We are getting started tomorrow night with Detroit and Kansas City. The Chiefs opened up as a 6.5 to 7-point favorite, but due to some injury news, Travis Kelce's status to be determined. That line's been bet down all the way to 4.5. So the Chiefs 4.5-point favorites heading into tomorrow. Over under highest on the slate this week, guys, 52.5 points expected to be scored tomorrow. Other wide receivers for Kansas City to be healthy, and I know that's a little bit surprising. Kadarius Toney ready to go. Sky Moore ready to go. The rest of that receiving core should be ready to go for Kansas City. Kansas City has never lost a season opener with Patrick Mahomes, and the numbers a little bit staggering here. In those games, he's got a total stats of 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 137 perfect quarterback rating, and the Chiefs have averaged 38 points a game in those last 5 season openers. So they light it up when they start things off, Jason, here. But the Lions draft Jahmyr Gibbs, won 8 of their last 10 games last year, one of the close favorites to win the division here this year in the NFC North. I know some of us don't feel that way. They improved that defense. It's going to be a barn burner tomorrow. Like I said, the over-under is set in the 50s. What are you expecting out of the Chiefs and Lions to kick off the season tomorrow night?
Under, and the Lions win.
Not even a discussion. He opens up with both of his picks to start the conversation. No. Say it again. Go ahead. Reiterate.
Under, and the Lions win.
Wait a minute. So we have this discussion. You have to pick the Lions to finish 4th in the NFC North.
Again, that doesn't mean that.
I know, but I want to hear your reasoning.
It doesn't mean they won't have spotlight games.
You're right. Absolutely right.
And I think without Travis Kelce,
the hate is real.
She's a different team, but no, I'm going to go further than that. When you say never, there has to be an ever at some point. There has to be a one time. And this will end up being that one time.
Calling a shot.
And the Detroit Lions defense, you say, is much improved from last year's defense. So if they won't stop Mahomes.
Possible.
They'll contain.
That's all you can do, right?
So you can contain Mahomes. I think the score is going to be under. I just think without Kelce, the score is under.
Matt, how you feeling? We know you like the Chiefs, whether who's around Patrick Mahomes this Thursday, and probably without Kelce, most likely doubtful for the game tomorrow night. This is going to be, you would say, maybe the least, you don't want to say talented, but experienced and maybe talented wide receiving core, or just pass catchers in general, that he's had maybe in his career.
Without a
They're
doubt.
still 4.5-point favorites. You still like the MVP?
I do. Now, here's the thing. I think Mahomes is to the NFL what Stephen Curry is to the NBA. And I don't mean by their skin tone. I'm talking about the fact that these guys play the sport at a way that if you were teaching somebody how to play the game, you would say, I don't want them to play like that. Because they have this innate way, and let's be honest, not fundamental way of playing the game.
Yeah.
There's no way you can defend against that. Like, there's no way you can tell a guy, hey, defend this guy throwing off platform on the run with a shuttle throw. Like, you can't scheme for that. Number 2, I think a lot of people, and this could be the year, and look, he's been tantalizing since he's been drafted, but Kadarius Toney is a guy that it would not shock me if we all sit back and say, this guy, 1,000-yard receiver, this is what everybody thought he could be.
Boy, there's some good stuff in the air down here. You're talking about Kadarius Toney having 1,000 yards.
No, he got to stay healthy, first of all.
That's such
fact.
a big
He's
question.
He's got to stay. His health is the number 1 factor. If he stays healthy, though, it's not crazy. Number 2, Sky Moore is going to be an issue. Whether people like to admit it or not, Sky Moore, they went out, they took a young kid from a very unknown college. They sat on him for a year. He did not bring him right in right away. This is the Andy Reid way. I think you're going to see Sky Moore take a big step this year. So I don't think they're out of weapons the way that people
they're not
think.
out of anything. I think for the opening game.
And we got Jared Goff.
I just think for the opening game, I think for the defending champions, a lot of times they lose that first game at home. They open the season out.
Sure.
I think all those factors play. I don't think that it's not an indication on the Chiefs for this season or in time overall. I just think for one game, I think it's going to be a better team for just this one game. That's just how I feel.
And to me, when I look at it, guys, in terms of the X factor here, to me, it's the battle in the trenches, right? Detroit's got a top 5 offensive line. Kansas City has been pretty good against the run, but that's the reason. They've been pretty good against the run, but that only sole reason for that has been Chris Jones. He is not going to play tomorrow night, obviously not coming to terms on a new deal. So he's going to be out from the middle of that Kansas City defense, and I think that's going to open up all kinds of running lanes. I think Detroit's going to pound the football, set up the play action with Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown across the middle. I like Detroit as well. I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go with Kansas City 33-30. I think it's going to be a shootout, Jason. I think that Kansas City is still with Mahomes, going to get that 3-point win late in the game. I think it's going to be a great way to kick off the season. I just think Detroit's going to have success, I think, offensively, but I think you can't stop Mahomes. He wins it late.
No, yeah, I listen. It wouldn't shock me either way. It wouldn't shock me if Jason's right and Detroit takes the win. It wouldn't shock me if Mahomes comes out and he's Mahomes. It wouldn't shock me either way. But I will say this: the matchup on paper does favor the Detroit Lions. With not having Chris Jones, with not having Travis Kelce, huge, right? Of course, you'd be an idiot not to say it. It doesn't add up for them. But again, when you have Patrick Mahomes, it's just hard to say I ain't believing that guy can get it done.
Mahomes boy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going Kansas City to win the game. I take Detroit to cover because the line's 4.5. I got Kansas City by 3, 33-30, and I'm taking the over 52.5. Jason?
27-24 Lions.
Win by 3.
I'm going to go 38-36.
38 there. We're all within a close range there. Kansas City and Detroit going to kick off the NFL season tomorrow night. We are back here with the NFL. Now let's move into Sunday's action and begin at 1 o'clock with a big division matchup in the AFC North. The Cincinnati Bengals traveling to take on the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow and the Bengals not having too much success in recent seasons over the Browns. Burrow 1-4 against Cleveland in the last 5 games. Burrow also missing all of training camp with that calf strain, a calf injury that's limited him big time. He was back at practice today. He said he feels good and ready to go, so he should be out there on Sunday. Bengals, the last 3 season openers, whether they won or lost, have been decided by 3 points. Every season opener for Cincinnati has been an incredible game. And then Deshaun Watson, guys, a big storyline. Back for year 2 in Cleveland. Year 1 didn't go great. Obviously suspended for the first 11 games, but just getting his feet wet in that offense here a little bit. People are expecting a big jump from him here in Cleveland in year 2. Myles Garrett back again, obviously one of the best edge rushers, 16 sacks last season. Chubb, 4th straight 1,000-yard season on the ground. What do your guys think about this one here with Cincinnati and Cleveland? Cleveland's had their number here as of late. Matt, where are you going here with Cleveland and Cincinnati? Bengals 2.5-point favorites, 47.5 the over/under. Cleveland or Cincinnati favorites on the road on Sunday.
I'm actually going with Cleveland. I think this is a statement game for Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to show everybody that he's back to being who he's been. He's got a full year now, got the rust off. I think he's looking at this matchup, and you can't tell me he knows that he has to come out and he has to be that guy. I think he's going to be that guy, and I think they're going to get the win.
Jason, what are you thinking here, Bengals and Cleveland?
Couldn't have said it better myself. I too believe that Cleveland will win this game, and I believe it's going to be quite handily. As Matt alluded to, Deshaun Watson has to have a big opening game for the fan base to believe in him, for the team to believe in him. You cannot be given all that fully guaranteed money and not have a big opening game.
Fully guaranteed.
And just a mere fact that the Browns usually always beat the brakes off Cincinnati at some point during the season.
It's crazy, huh?
And
Those numbers surprised me a little
bit. This is even, but again,
Halloween was the last time they played beat the brakes off them.
But Cleveland beats so of course it's the division where the Ravens play, so I can speak to experience between the Cleveland Browns. You rarely ever sweep Cleveland in the AFC North. Even when they're bad, they have one lucky game out of the year, you split. But this team, this is probably the best Cleveland team on paper. I'm going to go back, Matt. This is the best Cleveland team on paper since that Bill Belichick 94 squad.
I can see that.
I mean, I agree with you there.
This is the best Cleveland on paper since that team.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, but for me, it all comes down, I think we can agree on this, is to Deshaun Watson. For me, when you look at it on paper, yeah, they've added a few additions, which I would agree, probably the best team they've had a little bit, maybe but not by much over the last few years, but definitely improved. For me, when you look at them, and you're looking at this roster on paper, what they did last year, what's going to be the big difference? Like, where are they going to take that jump at? Is it going to be the run game? I don't know. They're already great in the run game. The defense played well. Myles Garrett had 16 sacks. It has to be Deshaun Watson. If they're going to be better, if they're going to win the division, if they're going to get in the playoffs, it all comes down to Deshaun Watson here. And again, for me, I just don't know. I was a huge Deshaun Watson fan at Clemson. I loved him coming out of the draft. I loved him in Houston last year. Just things seem so off to me, and maybe that's just because of everything that's happened, and he's needed some more time to settle in. But again, he's going to be, they're going to go as he goes. And you say that about a lot of quarterbacks, but I think more so here in Cleveland with a team that's set up to have some success.
He was still paying lawsuits last year.
I think that was a big part of it.
I really think the case.
I think it was mental.
Took his mental toll on him last year. He was happy with the money, but he still had to deal with the public scrutiny. And I think that a year removed from all of that, with a clear mindset, but also learning the offense.
Yeah, and again, coming from a guy that was, heralded as not a great quarterback, but a better person his entire life, right? At Clemson, just always doing the right thing. He got to the NFL. First thing he did was, I think, when he was a rookie, buy all the lunch lady, everybody in the facility, all these different things. And then this happens. I think it really kind of took his mental completely out of it.
And remember, whenever he has a top receiver, he goes off.
Yeah.
And he still has Amari Cooper there, who is still number 1 receiver in this league.
And I like David Njoku this year as well in terms of
Njoku, he always.
I think he got going towards the end of the year last year.
Puts up decent numbers. So
I'm going to go with this one. You guys going with Cleveland? I'm going to go with Cincinnati in a close one. Give me Cincinnati 24-21. They pull it out again. I'm going with the quarterback play late. Mahomes late against the Lions. Give me Burrow late in a game I know that a team I know he struggles against. I think they get the win here in a tough battle. They pull it out in this one.
35-21 Browns. I think Joe Burrow gets knocked around again.
Going 32-12.
32-12, a blowout. Cleveland, as Matt mentioned, a statement win for Deshaun Watson and the Browns in their opener there. And now, Matt, let's jump to your San Francisco 49ers. A big day for 49ers fans today before we jump up into the matchup here with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Too much money.
5 years, $170 million for Nick Bosa, who until today was unsigned. There was a chance he wasn't going to be on the field on Sunday. That is now completely off the table. He'll be ready to go, as I mentioned, 5 years, $170 million. I think $120 million guaranteed.
122.5.
So he is set up nicely now. He'll be back in action, suited up. A lot of the betting trend here, guys, has been going, again, a lot of it with the Nick Bosa talk and stuff like that. Brock Purdy coming back off that injury. It's a small line here with San Fran favored on the road, though, still by 2.5 points. Over under one of the lowest of the week, set at 41. George Kittle, most likely not going to play in this one. He's doubtful. Brock Purdy, I believe, is going to go. Sam Darnold will back him up, Matt, as we talked about. So George Kittle might not be able to go with that abductor strain. They've paid Nick Bosa. CMC's back, healthy, ready to go. Mm-hmm. What are your expectations for the 49ers here in Week 1 against a tough and I think underrated Steeler team?
I actually think the 49ers are going to lose. I just think it's a situation where, look, Brock Purdy's got to come in, and we're talking about guys that have to establish themselves Week 1.
Yeah.
Pressure's on Brock Purdy too. I mean, as much as we're making jokes about Sam Darnold, at this point, let's be honest, Sam Darnold's had a little bit of success. You've seen games where Sam Darnold has played, and you're like, he's got some talent.
Before he got hurt with the Panthers last year, I think he had a couple. DJ Moore, he made DJ Moore.
So the pressure's on Purdy. If Purdy doesn't make that move, and I think that's the move with Trey Lance. Like, when Trey got pissed off that he couldn't beat out Darnold, like, I think the writing was on the wall. Like, dude, they brought in Darnold not for you, bro, but for Purdy. If Purdy at any point shows regression or shows that he's the Mr. Irrelevant pick, he'll be off. Sam Darnold's right there. Sam Darnold's right there. So I think they got to figure that out. I think he comes out, maybe he tries to play it too safe. Maybe he was just in I don't know how you call it, just in a groove last year. So we're going to find out. And I do think the Steelers are really talented. I think they're underrated talent. I think Pickens is going to have a great year. Pick him up in fantasy. And I think Kenny Pickett takes a little bit of a step forward. I don't know if it's a gigantic step, but he does have Najee Harris there to help him out. And I guess Pickens and Freiermuth are just great pieces.
Johnson's still there.
Exactly. So I actually think the Steelers can squeak out a win. I don't think it's going to – if they do win, I think it's like 4 points or something like that. But, yeah, I do think the Steelers will pull it out.
And again, Steelers, Jason, the last 2 years have upsets in their season opener. It was the Bills back in 2021. They upset the Bengals last year in 2022.
They can continue this year.
They can continue going with the Steelers as well.
I hate to say it. I'm going with that team that plays up north, yes.
Yeah, that takes a lot out of you to pick the Steelers, especially in a tough matchup.
It does, because I actually like the Niners.
And
I said it out loud, so my friends who are Niners fans, the only time you hear it all season.
And we talked about it a little bit. I want to ask you guys this question here. And Brock Purdy has gotten all the love in the world from that front office, from John Lynch. He's been the guy, all summer in their minds, and he will be coming back healthy this year. How long is that leash on Brock Purdy? And again, he may not play bad. He may pick up right where he left off last year. But say he doesn't. Say he goes back to, as Matt alluded to earlier, that Mr. Irrelevant pick, and he comes back down to earth on the field. How many weeks until that gets in Kyle Shanahan's head?
The question isn't how long is the leash on Brock Purdy. How long is the leash on John Lynch? That's the real question. Because if Brock Purdy or Sam Darnold just don't do anything, Lynch is out the door. I think it's more on Lynch than it is even on Brock Purdy playing, because whatever you get from Brock Purdy is still of value compared to where he was picked in the draft. It doesn't really matter.
And that's the thing, too, right? Going back to John Lynch, not a lot of people are thinking John Lynch is maybe being on the hot seat, and that's the reason why. Brock Purdy has played well. They ended up, being the number 2 seed in the NFC and made it to the NFC Championship. If Brock Purdy doesn't play well and they have a losing record, don't make the playoffs last year, he's absolutely on the hot seat. Because when you give up that much to go get Trey Lance like they did in that draft, that's a move that gets you fired. Now, I don't care who you are.
And guess what? One of those draft picks ended up being what the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill.
They gave up a lot.
When you think about all those picks that ended up being
3 firsts.
It's going to go down as one of the worst trades potentially.
It's still not the Herschel Walker trade, so
No.
nothing will ever top that.
It's not that bad, but yeah, I think Lynch is definitely on the hot seat. I mean, let's be honest. If they have a competent QB play, they're a championship contending team. If they don't get competent play, and I'm saying this as a 49ers fan, they're going to struggle. Because there's only so much CMC and Elijah Mitchell can do, and having Samuel on sweeps. There's only so much you can do with making your offense that way.
And with a mediocre offensive line as well, right? This
and think
year.
about
That's right. Mike McClinchy was a huge loss.
And Trent Williams, the only really guy that's stout on that up front 5.
And think about it. Why would Lynch be on the hot seat either way? Because again, you don't re-sign Jimmy G. You trade Trey Lance. And you keep a 7th round draft pick and you sign Sam Darnold. If all that stuff that doesn't pan out, this is the biggest year of John Lynch's career as an executive. It has to be.
And that defense has to be, I don't know if it has to be, but it needs to be almost as good as it was.
Oh, it has to be.
There's no, because again, we're still touting a 7th round QB.
Yeah.
I'm
End of the day.
going to go Steelers in the under here, too. Let's round it out. Let's see what the Steelers here. I got the Steelers by 3. I'm going to go 17-14. Pittsburgh gets the win. For me, the difference is that defensive line for the Steelers, one of the best in football. T.J. Watt healthy. Alex Highsmith healthy, going up against that mediocre offensive line that we talked about. I think they're going to win that battle in the trenches. The offensive line is improved for Pittsburgh. I know San Fran's got a tough defensive line as well, but I think T.J. Watt has a field day on Sunday. Makes life difficult for Brock Purdy, who the last time we saw was getting roughed up by that Eagles defensive line, ended up taking him out of the game.
Yeah. You would say that.
What?
That he roughed up by the Eagles defense.
Well,
I mean,
it's not my fault they played. It could have been anybody. That's just what happened. Isn't that what happened? He was sacked a few times, got hurt, had to leave the game.
But yeah, they mentioned it was week 1 now. It's okay.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm more so about the offensive line. The offensive line got beat up, and I expect them to get beat up again this weekend.
I'm just being that guy for a brief moment.
We'll find out. We'll see. We're all picking the Steelers here.
Yeah, picking the Steelers 28-20.
Oh.
I'm going 2023.
17-14. Steelers getting this. Niners starting off 0-1. 3rd year in a row, they have to fly cross-country to play week 1. I don't know who's doing the scheduling, but they do not like the San Francisco 49ers. Let's take a move into one of the worst divisions in football, the division that we started off our division previews with, and of course that is the NFC South. The Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Not much time to spend on this one here, fellas. Falcons 3.5-point favorites, over-under set at a low 39.5, as you would expect for any game that Arthur Smith was coaching in. We look at the Panthers, the debut of Bryce Young and Frank Reich. That era begins in Carolina. Brian Burns was sitting out of practice, wanted a new contract. He was back today. That's probably one of their best players, if not their best player for Carolina. Falcons, we get the debut of Bijan Robinson, who was moved up to RB1 on that depth chart yesterday. Desmond Ridder, first season as a starter. What are you guys thinking here for the Panthers and the Falcons? Falcons 3.5-point favorites, Jason.
Not so fast, my friend. The Panthers have a better offensive line than people actually really give credit for. And they have a lot of veterans on that team to coach Bryce Young along, actually. And Frank Reich, with most quarterbacks, is a match made in heaven. That's what he does well, if anything else. So I do think the Panthers upset the Falcons.
Panthers upset the Falcons. Matt, how do you feel about this one? A battle in the NFC South. Falcons worst in the division last year. I had them making a run to win the division this year. Another, going out on a limb pick there. How do you feel about the Falcons and Panthers in that divisional matchup for Week 1?
I think the Falcons will win. I think it's going to be a scrappy game. I think Ritter will use Bijan Robinson, who I think is a front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He'll use him to death. I mean, they really have to. I mean, we don't know.
See how you don't.
We just don't know what Ritter is. I mean, just being honest. And they don't have a ton of. And they got Hayden Hurst, which was a good pickup.
Drake
for
London
them.
still.
Drake London's great.
Kyle Pitts coming.
Oh, no, we're not
that
worried
injury.
about Kyle Pitts.
Pitts, I don't know. I don't know. But look, I think the Falcons will get the dub. I just think we just expect, unless Bryce Young is as good as we think, as he was advertised, which you don't know, maybe. I think it's going to be a fight, but I think Falcons will pull it out.
We go with the Falcons in a low-scoring, ugly ball game.
It's going to be an ugly game.
Here in the NFC South, give me the Falcons. I'll take the Falcons by 4 in that one against Carolina. So the Falcons to cover there in that one. Let's move it to the AFC South and talk a little bit about the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road at Indianapolis to take on the Colts to begin their season. This one also Sunday at 1 o'clock. Jacksonville defending that division title. They are 5-point favorites with an over-under of 45.5. We talked about year 2 under Doug Peterson. They add Calvin Ridley. They are the division favorites again this year, and they're going up against a Colts team that's had a lot of publicity here during training camp. No Jonathan Taylor, no trade. He is on the physically unable to perform list for at least the first 4 weeks of the season. And talking about negotiations there, it said the Colts talked to the Dolphins and they wanted Jalen Waddle back in return for Jonathan Taylor. So that kind of shows you that they're not really, serious about all this trade talk and what they're going to do with him. So that's the interesting situation there. Anthony Richardson and Shane Steichen, the debut of that quarterback, new head coach tandem. Steichen going to be calling the plays. We saw the success he had last year with Jalen Hurts with that mobile type of quarterback that could run and throw. But I think it's going to take some time for Anthony Richardson and the Colts to get things going. I love Jacksonville in this one on the road. Colts always play tough. They play tough division games no matter who they play. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do, but I think Jacksonville pulls it out. Not sure if they're going to cover that 5, but I got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we'll see what my prediction is here shortly. But I'm going to go with the Jaguars to get it started.
I'll take the Jags in this game, too.
Think you like the 5? You take them to cover, or what do you? I'm torn on that one. Colts play people tough, man, at home.
But
I think the entire country is going to be on the Jags.
It's home, but again, they have an indoor stadium, so you're talking about an advantage for both teams. When you look at it that way. So I think the Jags will cover the spread. Okay. And I think Calvin really has a monster first game back. I think they'll force feed him in the first half.
Yeah, I'm going with Jags. And Sunshine will make his push for MVP.
Yeah. And I will say, I think Anthony Richardson, who I like out of the University of Florida, I think he's going to take him. I think he's going to struggle through the first couple games of the season. Again, only 10 career starts under his belt coming into the NFL. I like him a lot as a prospect.
Sounds like Trey Lance.
I think he's going to take him some. Oh no! Don't say that. I'm sure the Colts don't want to hear that comparison. Don't say that. But we're all taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's head to another one here and go to Dennis's Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The trash game of the week.
The mid game of the week, right there.
Vikings. This is Matt's mid game of the week here.
Yes.
Vikings 6-point favorites coming off of that 13-win season last year, guys. Division champs in the NFC North. 45.5 the over/under. The Baker Mayfield era begins with Tampa. Mike Evans having some contract issues. He could leave after the season.
Would too.
And they are the defending division champs 2 times in a row, but there is no more Tom Brady. The Vikings, though, no Dalvin Cook coming into this year. Madison going to take over, but they have Justin Jefferson and they have Captain Mid under center who made the playoffs last year. Didn't get a playoff win. How you guys feeling about Tampa Bay and Minnesota? Jason, I know you want to get after this one.
El Capitan, Senor, Cousin Kurt. I don't like this game. For various reasons. I don't like this game, but if I had to pick someone, y'all not gonna believe I'm going to say this.
Oh no, Dennis, listening closely.
Dennis, y'all got this one, man.
Wow. Woo. Jason has something against Minnesota.
Ew. Man.
Y'all got this one, man.
Tampa Bay.
Y'all
what do you think? What's the X factor there? What is your methodology?
I think it's Tampa Bay's defense. It's slightly better than Minnesota's defense. I think that's what, and I think without Dalvin Cook, you see it in the first game of how the offense struggles to establish identity. And I don't think it's going to be like a blowout loss, like a 3-point. It's going to be like a slugfest, but it's going to be a 3-point game. And I think Tampa Bay pulls it out.
Tampa Bay comes on the road with Baker Mayfield, opens up the season with a win at the defending NFC North champs. Matt, how do you feel?
It's Baker Mayfield, man. I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. Like Kirk Cousins may be Captain Mid, but Baker Mayfield is like, I don't know. He's like Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street. That boy is trash, man. Get that man out of here. Okay?
Oh.
Look, it's only a matter of time before somebody else jumps in under center for them.
Kyle Trask here in a couple weeks?
Yeah, and let me just say this about Baker.
Another trash Florida quarterback?
Another trash
man.
Florida quarterback.
Gators are catching some strays here today.
Yeah, listen, let me just say this about Baker Mayfield. It all is going to go on their offensive line. Now, I do think if they can provide
with you
Baker
there.
some good offensive line play, they have a chance to pull out the win against Kirk Cousins and Captain Mids, okay? The problem with Baker Mayfield has been throughout his whole career is that he cannot throw when his feet are set. He has no ability to create on the move, and he has no ability to extend plays in the pocket. Now, if they keep him standing up and have him have the ability to scan the field and make a play with his feet set, they got a better chance of winning. But look, that's huge. We don't know. And let me just say this too. Also pick up Rashard White. That's a guy
I like
that's going to
Rashard
have.
White, too.
Yeah, like fantasy. I like Rashard White.
Yeah, Rashard White could be decent this year. So, other than that, you know, it's a nasty game, man.
Baker, again, one of my guys. I like you, Baker. I really do. But we talk about him getting out of the pocket. I've never seen somebody's legs move so fast and go nowhere as Baker Mayfield. When he takes a stab, pressure comes, you see him roll out to the right, man. I'll tell you, it's one of the funniest things. Go on YouTube, watch some highlights. It's hilarious. But again, Baker, you're my guy. But not this week. I think the Vikings are going to take this one. I don't like the 6. So I do think Tampa's going to give him a run, Jason. I do think it's going to be a slugfest, but give me Minnesota to win, not cover that game there. Let's jump to another matchup you might have forgotten about coming up this Sunday. Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
The Saints got the easiest schedule in the league this year. It begins with Tennessee. New Orleans favored by 3 in this one. Low over-under at 41.5 here. What's new in Tennessee? It seems like every year in Tennessee it's the same thing, right? Now you got Ryan Tannehill back for year 3 or 4. Derrick Henry's the running back. We're going to run the ball, see what happens, try to play good defense. Traylon Burks, maybe he takes that next step this year. If they're going to need him, they bring in DeAndre Hopkins. But does that change anything to you about this Titans offense? Are you expecting them to light up the scoreboard here with those additions and maybe Burks? Or
I think it does change the offense because until proven otherwise, D-Hop still puts fear in some of the quarterbacks in the NFL.
even with Ryan Tannehill?
It
In a
does-
play-action
it does-
offense?
He played with Brock Osweiler, bro. He's played with some horrible
Brock
quarterbacks
Osweiler.
in his career. Let's think about this for a second. And still put up numbers.
That's true.
Like it's not the quarterback. It's Hop knows how to get open, and he catches damn near everything that's thrown his way. So I don't know if they're going. I don't think they're going to win this game though. I still have the Saints. I really do. It's at home. It's in New Orleans. So I've been to the Superdome a couple times. It's
Derek Carr's debut.
but the energy, whether it's a concert or a football game, whatever the case may be. The energy of the crowd in the stadium, like they're like the noise is on you. Like there's no, you can't escape the
I would
noise.
love to get to a game there.
You can't escape the noise in the Superdome. Like the noise is on you.
Sugar Bowl, baby.
And I just feel like Derek Carr is better than Ryan Tannehill.
I'm with you there. Again, in that division, I like the Saints and the Falcons battle it out all year long to win that division. Don't get me wrong, I don't think they're going to be world beaters by any means, but
for the first time in 3 years, you have a healthy Michael Thomas on the field?
reports out of New Orleans, I don't know. They're not too optimistic about Mike. And again, nothing that he's injured or anything, but I don't know if he's. I haven't heard exactly
and
what's
Jimmy
going
Graham
on.
has a resurgence there. What's going on here?
And he had some. Hopefully, he's doing okay.
But really, the key to the game is the back end of the Saints defense.
Lattimore's supposed to be healthy.
And Chris Olave is going to go off on the Titans.
Love Chris Olave.
Yep.
Go off. So I have the Saints with the spread.
Me too. To me, the Titans. I just don't get the Titans. This to me, they're just one of those teams that you're going to come in and that you'll forget about halfway through the year. They're not going to be in the playoff run. They won't be bad. I think they'll be okay. Mike Vrabel's a good coach. Just nothing really appeals to me about the Tennessee Titans. I'm going Saints here too, Matt.
I think, I'll go with the Saints too. I do think it's going to be a close game. I think Henry alone can do that. I'll say this.
Demario Davis.
Yeah, the issue with the Titans in this game is going to be how long are they going to continue on the Tannehill train here. Now, Tannehill, look, Play action, that's where he makes his money. People don't like to admit this, but Malik Willis has looked a lot better the second
I agree.
I don't know why everybody thought he should have came out as a barn burner coming out of Liberty. I think you got to give guys like him a time to really absorb the NFL. I think he's better than Will Levis. I know he's better than Will Levis. Yeah. I think before we're all done, I think Malik Willis will start. I think probably within first 5 games.
I don't see why not. What do they have to lose, right? That's how I look at it.
So let's talk Will Levis for a second, right?
Yeah.
What NFL quarterback has ever been good coming out of Kentucky? Don't worry, I'll wait. Tim Couch.
We don't have time.
None.
The hefty lefty.
Gerald Lorenzen, rest in peace.
Lefty, yes, Gerald
Nothing.
Lorenzen.
Rest in peace, yeah.
And Will Levis. I don't know how he even was drafted as high as he was. The tape didn't-
Intangibles.
What intangible?
That's what they say. I don't know. I wouldn't.
The
His
tape didn't go
girlfriend.
for me either.
That counts as an intangible.
His girlfriend was an intangible, bro.
However, I do believe that Malik Willis will be the starter before the season's over, and I think if he's a starter, it's a different record. I think he brings a different dynamic with his arm and his legs.
We'll see.
And the fact that you would have to game plan for him from a different way. You would Tannehill.
That's a fact.
And I'm high on Malik Willis still. He shouldn't have been as high as he was last as far as the drafting status, but you don't go to Alabama for no reason.
Right.
As a quarterback at that.
Right.
Saban's very particular about who he,
brings in.
And he left because of playing time, but you still can't go that high in the college ranks, getting Alabama to knock on your door. Then Liberty, who's never been a football school, you make them somewhat relevant for a year.
Right.
In the NFL, learn the system, you have to project, for a year. But I think honestly the best chance for this team to win going forward is Malik Willis. But I don't think it's going to happen on Sunday. So
me either.
Saints by 3.
All with the Saints, and again, we spent too much time on the Tennessee Titans there. Let's try to wrap up the show here. Lightning round as we wrap up the rest of these games here for week number 1. Let's start with the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders. Commanders big favorites in a low over-under set at 38. Commanders by 7 here. Cardinals cut Colt McCoy. Josh Dobbs going to start the season. That screams tank for Caleb Williams. We'll see how their season plays out. Debut here for Jonathan Gannon as well as the new coach for the Arizona Cardinals. Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell get their debut to lead this offense for Washington. Hearing some good things. They look good in the preseason as well. McLaurin battling turf toe. We'll see. Defense looking good for the Commanders as always on paper. We'll see how they play. Who do you like here? I don't have to ask you.
Who the hell is picking Arizona to win anything?
Tank for Caleb Williams. I got the Commanders by double digits. Matt, how do you feel?
Oh, I get the same way.
Commanders
Yeah,
roll
we
here
all
in
clean
this
sweep.
one.
Yeah.
Houston at Jason's Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore minus 10 at home against the rookie quarterback D'Amico Ryans, head coach now here for the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, they get the 2nd and 3rd picks in the draft. Todd Monken coming over for Baltimore as the new offensive coordinator. They add OBJ, Zay Flowers, some new weapons offensively there. A healthy Lamar Jackson. Jason, what are your expectations? I love them Sunday. Give me a 20-point win.
This is going to be a sweater.
You really think so?
But I think Ball's going to cover the
I got
spread.
them covering, yeah. Give me
But it's going
Baltimore.
to take to the 4th quarter.
4th quarter, you get it.
Because I think
the Ravens defense destroyed that offense.
the Texans still have Bernard Pierce.
Damian Pierce.
Damian Pierce.
Bernard Pierce, though, Temple was a guy, Raven, former Raven. He was a man. If he would have stayed healthy, I like Bernard Pierce.
They have Damian Pierce running back.
That's right.
And I think that they're going to do ball control to keep them more off the field. That's what I just think.
They're going to try. I don't think it'll work out.
Like I said, but then the 4th quarter is going to open up.
So you got them covered, and I got them covered. Matt, Ravens?
Oh, yeah.
Cover 10?
Of course, yeah.
There we go. Matt, keeping it simple for us here. Let's go to the Eagles and the Patriots. An interesting one here. Eagles, 4-point favorites on the road. Patriots, a home dog this weekend with one of the best defenses in the country. Jason, I call on you.
This is the upset pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
For most people.
Yeah.
And I'm
Dennis clapping behind the glass.
I'm on the bandwagon for this week. I think the Eagles lose this game.
I love Bill O'Brien back, Matt running this offense. Last year they had no offensive coordinator coming into the season. I thought it was the most absurd and asinine thing of all time. It turned out exactly that way. Now they bring back Bill O'Brien, former head coach, great play caller here with Mac Jones. Yep. Can they find some of that offense success they had 2 years ago, Matt? Are they going
to? I'm going with Philly, man.
I'm going with
I'm not a believer
Eagles.
in Mac Jones, and that's the sole purpose. Now, I will say this. In this game, keep an eye on Ramondre Stevenson. He's a guy that could definitely take that game and make New England win.
And again, the Eagles' worst part of that defense was stopping the run last year. That's how the Commanders broke that win streak. And again, Stevenson could be the guy for that. No Riley Reif starting tackle for New England. That's a big loss for the Patriots. Tom Brady night up in New England at Gillette Stadium this Sunday. He's gonna be there. They're gonna introduce him.
That's why.
That's why you go with that. I think the Eagles win the game. I don't think they cover. You get Eagles by 3. I think that Patriots defense.
Yeah, if they win, they won't cover.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. You Eagles, Matt?
Yeah, I'm
going Patriots.
All right, well, let's keep it moving here. Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. This is one that I'm going to be tuning into. It may not seem like a big matchup on paper, but Jordan Love, Justin Fields, that's a quarterback duel that I want to see. The Bears are at home at Soldier Field, 1-point favorites, a low over-under. Jordan Love era begins on Sunday. Jason McCall, do the Packers start off the Love era with a victory on the road? Do they still own the Bears?
Love hurts. Go Bears. It's simple. Bears.
Bears in the cover by 1?
I'm not picking this game no way. I don't pick anything with a 1. I don't pick those games. Bears.
We got the Bears. Matt, how do you feel? I say you've been a Jordan Love guy here in the preseason. What do you think?
Jordan Love guy, and I think it's going to take Fields a game or 2 to get his swag back.
Love the Packers defensive line. Bears offensive line, a bunch of question marks. I think that could be the difference there as well. If they're able to put Justin Fields pressure, we saw what that was like last year. Yeah, he can escape the pocket and make things happen, but I think he's going to be running for his life back there, and hopefully they can fix that going forward, or it'll be a long season. But I think the Packers get the best of them there. Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson on the injury report today with hamstring injuries. Doubs, had a little bit of an injury in the preseason here. New here for Christian Watson, who we saw last year battle a lot of weird hamstring stuff. Not a good look for him. I've got him in fantasy. Well, hopefully he'll be able to go. I don't know what's up with Christian Watson. No sign of injuries before today. DJ Moore with the Bears. That's going to be big there for that offense. We'll see. I like Khalil Herbert a lot, too, in that run game. But, again, I'm going to go with the Packers on the road, too. I guess it's the toughest one on the board for me.
I think so.
I think it's going to be a close one here. So, Bears, Pack. That's going to be a close one. I like this game a lot. Yep. Let's keep it moving. Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. An interesting matchup in the AFC West. Russell Wilson, horrible. Jimmy G, his debut for the Raiders. Russell's debut with Sean Payton. We'll see what happens there. Josh Jacobs is back. He signed that contract, so he'll be good. The rushing champ from last season. What are you guys' expectations for the Sean Payton Broncos, and do they start off the Sean Payton era with a win here at home against Las Vegas? Got your Bronco orange on today.
Hell no, I don't. City College on, City Forever. You're here from Baltimore, you know. But I don't like this game at all. I really don't want to pick it.
It's an ugly game.
It's an ugly game.
I don't like the line either.
I don't like the line. I don't like the teams. I don't even know.
I like Sean Payton. I love what he, even the stuff he's saying, trying to do whatever. I think that's fine. I hate the Broncos as a team for some reason. For me, I think Russell Wilson, I don't think he turns it around this year. I hope I'm wrong, maybe, but I just don't think he finds that.
Sean Payton's a dick. That's just put it out there.
He is. He definitely is, no doubt.
But
I think the Broncos needed a little bit of that in that locker room.
Pause. No.
Yeah.
Just for that, I'll take the Raiders.
You know what? Me too. Give me Jimmy G.
Take the Raiders, man.
On the road, I don't. The Broncos can win. They definitely don't cover. Give me the Raiders to cover in this one. I just did. From what I saw last year, I think Javonte's gonna need some time to get healthy. I hate what I saw out of them and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's bad. And look, I think Tim Patrick going down was massive for them.
Again, yeah.
And I think there's still a lot of question marks on the team. I think Greg Dulcich, if you're looking for a decent tight end, the sleeper, I think that's a good one in fantasy. But yeah, give me the Raiders.
Raiders across the board here in a very weird game for Sunday. And not this one, though, coming up, I think this is going to be a fun one to watch. A shootout here between the Dolphins and the Chargers. Over-under set at 51. Justin Herbert and the Chargers, 3-point favorites at home here against Miami, who is going to have to travel across the country. Year number 2 under Mike McDaniel. Jalen Waddle battling that midsection core injury. Should be good to go for Sunday, but still something to monitor heading into the game. Tyreek Hill over 1,700 yards last season. He said this year he's going for 2,000. He said last year was his first year in the system. He was kind of just having fun with it. He said this year he knows it. He knows where he has to be. He said easy money, 2,000 yards for Tyreek Hill. We'll see if he's right. Tua's health, obviously the big thing when you think about Miami.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey, he's already hurt here defensively, one of the trade acquisitions they made the offseason. And we already talked about the Chargers. Kellen Moore, new offensive coordinator. I think they're going to push the ball downfield more. Mike Williams and they're healthy right now. We'll see if that can last with Keenan Allen. But they did draft Quentin Johnson out of TCU. I think Herbert takes a leap. I have him third on my MVP list. What are you guys doing in this one? Chargers, Dolphins. I think it's one of the better games here on Sunday.
This is one of the better games on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, very good.
I really don't know.
It's a tough one.
I really don't know. I like both teams.
Me too.
If I'm being completely honest, I think they both are explosive offensively. But if I had to lean towards a team, I'm going to lean towards the Chargers because I trust their defense just a bit more than I trust the Dolphins' defense.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming back healthy, right? Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson's supposed to be back healthy here this year at corner. Matt, I'm going to lead the Chargers by 3. I'm going to take a push on this one. I'm going to say 30-27 Chargers by 3. I like Mike McDaniel as a better coach than Brandon Staley. I'm not a big Brandon Staley guy, but I do like Mike McDaniel, but I'm going to stick with the Chargers here anyway.
That's a trio. Because I
Chargers across the board. All right, there we have it. Then we'll move on to our final 3, and this is my lock of the day. I'm going to give it to you guys already. We're going to do our locks at the end of the show, but we're on it, so I'm going to give it to you. LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. Over-under set at 46. The line is now 5.5. I loved it at 5. We'll see if it kind of stays there. It's now, I believe, at 5.5, so already being bet towards Seattle. I love the Seahawks in this one. Geno coming off that Most Improved Player award last year 2 as a starter in Seattle. I'm not sure necessarily he's going to have as big of a year maybe statistically as he did, but I think he's going to be good for them in that offense. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, the rookie they got out of UCLA. I think the defense will be better to start. And again, it's more about the Rams for me than it is the Seahawks. I think the Rams are so bad. Cooper Kupp now going to be out at least this week. We'll see how that is going forward. Look at the pass catchers. On paper, the worst pass catching group maybe in the league, led now by Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee. And then you look at the defense, besides Aaron Donald, no names across that entire defensive roster here. The other 10 players, your guess is as good as mine who we see on Sunday. New weapons for Geno. Give me Seattle all day, every day here in this one. I think they win by double digits against a Rams team that morale is low. Cooper Kupp just got hurt. The Stafford young player stuff's been coming around on his wife's podcast. Stetson Bennett got hurt today. Not that that's a big deal, but things aren't looking good for the LA Rams. I think they tank come middle of the season once they have a horrible start. Cooper Kupp doesn't come back. I don't think. Maybe he comes back for a few games. I think they put him on the shelf. I think they're going to be in the tank for Caleb discussion this year. Give me Seattle by double digits.
Seahawks. I don't even need to talk about it anymore.
All points made. What do you think?
I'm going with Seattle as well. And just real quick, I think Ben Skowronek, I think he's a decent pickup if you're looking for somebody that might put up some decent.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Geno and DK will have a greater connection this year, and he'll score more touchdowns.
Well, he's going to have to, right? There's no way he can't score like he did last year. That's going to go back up. So all of us on Seattle, again, that's my pick of the week for all of you at home. Yep. And now let's go to Sunday Night Football, baby. Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants. Seems like it's the typical Week 1 Sunday Night Football game almost every year, right? So let's talk about the Cowboys. Some changes there. Tony Pollard now going to step up into that lead back row. One of my favorite running backs this year. I absolutely love Tony Pollard. Maybe my pick for RB1 here this year in terms of fantasy production. But the issue, though, for me when you look at the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. I'm not sure how you guys feel. I'm a Mike McCarthy hater. He's now going to be calling the plays. Kellen Moore goes to L.A. to be with the Chargers and run that show with Justin Herbert. Mike McCarthy says he wants to run the ball, which, okay, Mike McCarthy. We'll see how it goes. The defense is back loaded up. As always, they add Stephon Gilmore to that defense. So looking pretty good there. And then the Giants. Year 2 with Brian Daboll. He was the coach of the year last year. A huge jump for them in his first season. Saquon signs that 1-year deal. Daniel Jones signs that extension. They add Darren Waller. All the pieces are there. Giants take a jump, Jason. They were a playoff team last year. 9 wins, I believe. They're going to start things off with the Cowboys. Giants, 3-point underdogs at home.
Yep. Underdogs at home. I hate
home dogs, baby.
I hate to do it, but I'm picking Dallas.
Dallas.
I'm going Dallas.
Dallas on the road goes and beats the Giants. Matt, what do you think?
Dallas. I got no faith in Daniel
I'm going Dallas, too. I think Daniel Jones turns the ball over a few times to that defense who's great at taking the ball away. I think Tony Pollard has a nice game.
And they added Stephon Gilmore to that defense.
I like it. I like him this year.
36-year-old Stephon.
Give me the Cowboys to cover on the road in that one.
Daniel Jones is an equal opportunity passer. He throws everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, he does.
So does Dak, though. So that's why the game's going to be close.
17 interceptions last year for Dak Prescott, but again, he guaranteed those will go down. So we'll find out. That all starts on Sunday night for the Dallas Cowboys. I think we're all rolling with the Cowboys there, and that'll take us to the big one on Monday Night Football to kick off stuff here between the Buffalo Bills and the beloved New York Jets this year, who have been the talk of the summer. They add Aaron Rodgers, but Buffalo 2.5-point favorites on the road at the Jets here, over under 46.5. The Bills, James Cook and Damian Harris going to lead that running back room this year. Diggs and Josh Allen. We're not sure about that drama going on behind the scenes, but supposedly all okay there. And then you got the Jets, guys, the most hyped team the entire offseason. They add Aaron Rodgers. That defense is supposed to be as good, if not better, than it was last year. DJ Reed coming out the other day, the cornerback, saying that this team has the defensive capability to be like the '85 Bears.
Come on, man. Stop the cat.
That's what he said.
2000 Ravens are better, but okay.
That's
anyway.
what he said. So, again, high expectations
2005.
internally for the New York Jets. Buffalo, 2.5-point favorites on the road. Where are we going with this one, guys?
I'm taking the Jets.
I am taking the Jets.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I'm not sipping on the Jet juice, guys. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills and the disrespect that they've been receiving due to the New York Jets.
But can we say this? Can we just put this one point in there? Just like we said about Deshaun Watson, there is no quarterback in the top 10 that has more pressure on him than Josh Allen.
Madden curse, question mark as well here. He's the cover of Madden this year.
Oh, well, then
It's definitely going there, though, bro. The Madden curse is real.
I'm going with the Bills to
You better
spoil
sacrifice a church. You better
Jets season
sacrifice a
opener.
chicken, bro.
Two Jets and a Bills. Jets cover the 2.5, guys. They win by 3.
No, they don't win the game.
No, they're not going to win.
I thought you said the Jets were going to win.
The Jets are going to win.
Yeah, I'm saying, oh, that's right. Just you're saying the Jets went outright. Jets went outright.
Yeah.
I'm going the Bills to win by 3. The Bass Man, Tyler Bass. I'm going a lot of game winners this weekend. Some 3-point victories.
Bass Man is
and it
crazy.
goes
That's
Crazy.
with the Buffalo Bills. Tyler Bass nails it deep into the fourth quarter, gives the Bills a 3-point lead. That'll do it for our Week 1 preview, guys. Let's wrap up here. Just closing thoughts. Week 1 gets underway tomorrow. And then Sunday, we have our full slate of NFL action.
Man, get your popcorn ready, as a T.O. would say. Get your popcorn ready. It's football season. We're
And
here.
you know, before we go, this is our first show. We're ahead of tomorrow night, and we didn't talk about this much. Super Bowl predictions. Here we go tonight. The season starts tomorrow. And obviously, we will change ours a few times, or maybe not, we won't. But as the season goes on and we make our predictions on our weekly show appearances here. But before the season starts, where are you guys going? And again, putting everybody on the spot. We did not think we were going to do this today. I'll maybe start it off here.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I am going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles out of the NFC.
Of course you
I'm
would.
Of course you would, man.
Well, you know, this is
okay.
what I believe. Again, I just think the Niners, I think Brock Purdy takes a step back. I think they're very talented. I think the Cowboys might be the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC.
Wow.
But I'm going to go with the Eagles out of the NFC there. And then who are they going to play in the Super Bowl? This is it's so hard to go against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. The Super Bowl rematch is tough to come by. When you think about teams, I like to think about the Ravens in that mix. I think about the Bengals in that mix. And again, I know you guys have been off on the Buffalo Bills. I think I'm going to go.
Don't you do it.
I know.
Bills, Eagles?
I'm going to go Bills, Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bills, Eagles to start the season. And again, that's coming from somebody that didn't have Josh Allen on their top 5 MVP list either. But that's where I'm going to go. Some sleepers there. I do think keep an eye on Brandon Staley just can't do it for the Chargers. I think keep an eye on the Jaguars as well.
Yeah, I think the Jags got a really good shot.
Real good shot.
What do you think of Jason Super Bowl prediction? Are you going to go?
I am. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
You both of you know where I'm going. A healthy Ravens team
Yeah.
who have been in the playoffs without Lamar, with a lesser of a roster.
Yeah.
If you keep this roster intact and keep Lamar healthy, there's no reason why they shouldn't be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Ravens, Eagles.
Eagles, I like it there too. Jason's been pretty good with his championship Super Bowl predictions. Matt, where are you going?
Man, look, I'm going 49ers.
He's going with the Niners. That's
Niner
expected
game, bro.
there.
I can see that, though.
Yeah, it can happen. It definitely
Going Niners,
could.
and I'm going to go.
He's going to go Bengals, probably.
Who?
He's going to go Bengals, probably.
You already know.
Yep.
Bengals and the Niners. Not a bad one there. So let me ask you this one, Matt. They're
Yeah.
playing the Super Bowl. Say your prediction comes to fruition
Yep.
there. Who's quarterback of the Niners in that Super Bowl game?
I think Darnold will
If
be
we were to look
quarterback.
in a crystal ball, Sam Darnold. Wow. Coming up. You never know. It could happen. It could definitely happen. So there you have it. Our Super Bowl predictions, our previews for week number 1. You can catch us back live with a week 1 update and a week 1 recap, and then a look ahead to week 2 on Monday night right here on DETV. So for Jason, Matt, myself, and Dennis, we will see you next Monday. Enjoy this week of football. We are back.